Hello everyone, welcome back to talk about Transformers. Today we're looking at Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Deluxe Class Airazor. And this is just a really fun figure to just pick up and mess with. But we'll go right ahead and start taking a look at the details. She's got just... I don't think there's paint on the black, but it's just reflecting the light, and it just looks so full of life. The way it looks with the light reflecting off it, like it's watching me. And then you've got some light colored gray or light tan on the mouth covering. I guess it would be tan gray because of the coloring on the rest of the bird is kind of a gray brown. The stomach is a robot folded up under there. The legs aren't great. From about here down they look pretty good, but then you add the knees in, and then the robot mode shoulders are kind of sticking out. The tail just barely covers the robot booty if you're looking at it from the top. You've got some more paint here on the top, nice brown paint there. And going into articulation a little bit, she's got a hinge at the base, a double hinge here, and a single hinge here, so you can get all kinds of flapping motion out of those. And then there's a hinge here that allows the wing to move in and out. And just more lovely sculpting. A little bit of that brown paint that's on her back is on the wingtips. Go ahead and stretch this wing out and get a look at the full wingspan, and that's a pretty big wingspan. It's thin, but it's big, as wings should be. And then you could kind of peg the tail and wiggle it if you want to, but it's really just supposed to stay snapped in. You have basically the full robot mode articulation. It's just slightly different. The robot mode knee actually becomes like the thigh, and then there's a bend in the robot mode leg that you don't use that becomes her knee. And then you've got a ball joint at the foot that can get you forward and back, some side to side, and a full swivel. There is a swivel and a hinge at the head, so she can be flying, or if she's sitting, she can be looking down. She can give you a little sideways confused bird action. And then there's a little tab that you can push with your fingernail, and she actually has an opening beak, which is really cool. It's not something that they had to do for a figure this size, but they did. Her only accessories are her little missiles that hang out here in beast mode, and I actually usually leave them there in robot mode too, because I mean, they don't get in my way. I don't have to unpeg them, and if I didn't just leave them there, they'd probably end up in a box. So there she is. We'll go ahead and leave her wingspan out. Maybe we'll go ahead and get her, and the wings are kind of molded in a little curve to simulate the feathers being flapped up for flight. So if we can get her sitting like this, it would almost be like a flying pose. There is a port down here, if I can get it to focus on her, for your flight stands. It's trying to focus on my hand and her feet. Let's go ahead and fold those out of the way. There we go. Now it's focusing. So we'll go ahead and put her off to the side. Ooh. If we can get her standing with her wingspan open. There we go. There she's standing. We'll get into some size comparisons. First and foremost, as always, we've got our standard Rubik's Cube. We've got our Gore Magala statue. So it's like a dragon and the giant eagles from Lord of the Rings decided they were going to get into a fight. We've got our Volkswagen Bumblebee. And then last for this review, I'm basically just going to preview the next figure I'm going to do in the Deluxe class on Monday in these as a transformed comparison, just so that way it's already transformed for its own review. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and put in tracks. And that's it for comparisons. So we'll go ahead and get her transformed. And the first thing that you want to do is to unplug the tail and the legs. There is a slot and a wonky shaped tab. You're going to pull the legs away from that, just so that way you can rotate them down. Same thing on the other side. You're going to straighten out the thigh of the bird to make the robot knee, straighten out the bird's knee to make the robot foot straight, then rotate the bird foot around to become the robot foot. Same thing on the other side. And then rotate at the swivel above the knees, so that way the entire robot leg is orientated properly, and then take it at the robot waist and turn it 180 degrees, and you've got the lower body all done. Oh, excuse me. Pull the arms out of the chest cavity. They just rest in this open cavity. The hands just fold down at the shoulder joint, and there's a little tab that'll rest in that notch. It doesn't really plug in secure, but it'll rest in there and friction a little bit. So pull her arms out at the shoulder, and then we're going to come around to her back and unpeg her back. There's a tab and a slot that'll go into the bird head, and then there's a tab here and a tab here that plug into the bird back at this back set of pegs slots. There's two of them, and in beast mode they plug into the back. There's a series of double hinges in there. You can see them, they're gold plastic, and we're going to rock the backpack up on those. And at the same time we're doing that, we're going to flip the bird head forward. Let's go back so we can get that on camera. Flip the bird head forward on this. Well, I mean, it's not ratcheted, but it does click, so I'm guessing there's hex. Yeah, there's some. This in here is hexagonally cut, so you're basically swooping it past the points, and then it's going to rest in robot mode. We'll continue to collapse on those hinges, and then this back tab here, this is the front tab we use to plug into the back port in bird mode. Now we're going to take the back tab and plug it into the front port for robot mode. That's going to peg together, and the bottom of the bird head is going to peg onto a tab up in there. And then you can leave her wings like this, but what you're supposed to do, the tail plugged itself in for me, but it's just going to peg back into the slot it was in bird mode. What you're supposed to do is take her wings, and when you bend this double hinge, you expose a tab that's going to go into the slot in the back, and then fold the wings like that. So it just shortens her wings up to a more accurate proportion to the robot mode. Now you can have them full on spread out, which I like to do. I like to, if she was, I'll get to the arms in a second, but if she was just standing there with her wings collapsed and she wanted to puff up her wings like a threat display, that's what I use that for, and then I'll just expand them out to do flight. But we'll plug them in, rotate them down, because that's how they're supposed to be, in rest. Then you're going to fold her arms down, and then her shoulder armor and her shoulder are on the same hinge, so separate them, rotate at the bicep, separate, rotate at the bicep, get her standing, and there we have Airazor all transformed up into his or her robot mode, depending on where you're from. In the States and probably a lot of other countries, like Canada and the UK, she was a girl, but according to Jobby in Japan, he was a dude, so I don't doubt that. Getting in close on the head sculpt, black eyes painted, green pupils, the purple face is all painted, and then on her chin she's got like a little gray goatee looking thing going on, which makes her look like a very feminine guy. And then you've got the little orange and gold accents on here that kind of make it look like a bird beak was split open. Sorry about that, I was swiping away a notification. I do film these on my phone, so. Coming down the chest, you've got nice orange detail to fill around the head, so it looks like it belongs there. Skirt flap is molded in this orange plastic with gold painted on, and it's not bad color matching to the gold plastic that it's hooked onto. I believe these are also painted in that gold paint. You got some gray paint on orange molded thighs, and then you've got that brown gray plastic down to the feet, and then the feet are orange. There's the back of the legs, siege ports, and then the detail up past here you've all seen before. These aren't hollow gaps so much as they are to make room for the legs to collapse into bird mode, so that's fine. And then her arms are the gray molded plastic, the gold molded plastic, and then I'm not sure if this is gray or if they molded it and painted it, but it almost looks like it was molded and painted. It matches really well to the paint down here anyway. And then those are where the screws are, but it almost looks like little painted accents too. So there you go. Her only accessories are her little missiles, and on the show they would be on her arm, and they just fire off with like the same sound effect as Waspinator's sting cannon. So we'll go ahead and get those on her arms, arm her up. I just like the way they kind of bulk out the thighs, but there they are on the arms, and she just looks very lean, which isn't a bad thing. So there we have her in robot mode. We'll go ahead and get her off to the side, and we'll start size comparisons part 2. Rubik's Cube, Gormagala, Volkswagen Bumblebee from the live action films. I just touched up some of his joints. His thumb was loose and this wing was loose. I don't know if it's a common thing, but mine was loose. The wing out of the box basically, and then the thumb loosened up, so I just fixed those today. And then for robot mode, here she is with her buddy Cheetor. I posted something on Facebook where I had my one ball python on top of this bumblebee, and I was making a joke that, remember the time the Autobots got attacked by giant snakes, and then someone brought up that it actually happened, and in Beast Wars, I forgot about it, there's an episode where they go blind, and then Cheetor gets wrapped up in a snake, and I have a brown snake, a brown ball python, and this Cheetor's got no pupils, so he could be blind, air quotes, and so I could put my snake on him as a cheetah and just do like a little recreation of the scene, so I thought that was funny. Put him back off to the side. And that pretty much is it for the War for Cybertron Trilogy Deluxe class Airazor from Kingdom. It's a fun figure. When I got it, I like to just make it whoosh around. It's one of them whoosh around figures, and you can take her wings, like I said, and you can expand them all the way out. And what I was trying to do with it, but not finding much success, was like doing the Falcon from the MCU thing, where he brings in his wing is like a shield, but it doesn't wrap around in front of her enough. There'd have to be like a hinge right here where this rotation is, this sideways hinge, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I was like, it was like the Transformers version of the Falcon from the MCU. So anyway, this review is coming out on a Monday, of course. I haven't figured out what I'm going to review on the Friday after this, because I'm filming this way early than I thought. I was thinking about filming my new battle damaged undersized KO Dragoon, but if I even get him in time, there's probably some modifications I'm going to want to make, so I'll probably end up reviewing Kingdom Rhinox this Friday. But that's it, so I'll see you guys next time.